China, of course, is ever present in our discussions these days, particularly with the tension around Taiwan. How do you think the New Zealand government has taken the threat of China? Perhaps we could listen first to Jacinda Ardern herself addressing the Lowy Institute in Sydney.
While we all have a concern, and rightly so, about any moves towards militarisation of our region, that must surely be matched by a concern for those who experience the violence of climate change.
Well, there she is, putting climate change on a par with tensions with China. Elsewhere in the speech, she says things are not black and white in geopolitics. We shouldn't force other countries to take sides. To us, that sounds like a country that's in the throes of appeasing China. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. I mean, with our Prime Minister, it depends what speechwriter she had for the day, because you can hear very different things about China in the West from our Prime Minister. So she turned up, of course, at the NATO summit in Madrid about a month ago and delivered a very good speech, I thought, on standing together in the West and confronting the challenges of Russia and China. Just a few weeks later, then, turning up in Australia, speaking the Lowy Institute, she had completely changed her tune, and suddenly it sounded like she wanted to really make up with China. She gave another speech actually in Auckland just about a week ago at a China-New Zealand business forum, and again, sounded completely different and basically made up with China. So it depends on what speechwriter she has for the day. She speaks to her different audiences. So she sounds very different when she speaks to NATO. She sounds different when she speaks at the White House. And she sounds different when she speaks to a foreign audience, mainly with Chinese business people in Auckland. So there is no consistency in our approach. What I would say is actually that for a long time, there have been question marks over New Zealand's reliability as a partner in the greater concert of Western powers. For example, we are part of the Five Eyes Alliance. We are part of a network of security and intelligence sharing with our partners in Australia and Canada and Britain and America. Well, actually, is it really Five Eyes left, or is it 4.5 eyes, or maybe 4 eyes? The other partners have some concerns about our reliability because we are no longer really automatically siding with our partners in that constellation. So they've actually asked New Zealand to do more than just a bit of intelligence sharing, but actually taking some initiative jointly on foreign policy issues, and New Zealand has refused. So that is a change. It's actually a change just over the last couple of years, because before that, of course, with the coalition and New Zealand first involved with Foreign Minister Winston Peters back then, there was a lot more pro-American coming out of the New Zealand government. There was talk of a Pacific reset where our Foreign Minister Winston Peters wanted to actually work more closely with our Pacific partners because we wanted to actually counteract the threat of China in the region. That has changed now that Labour is in power on its own without Winston Peters.
Well, Oliver, thank you very much for keeping us up to date with New Zealand, indeed alerting us to some of the things over there, because as you point out, when it comes to China and strategic influence, then there's no more important, no more closer partner in terms of geographic proximity than New Zealand. It's important that we stay solid, of course, in defiance of Chinese belligerents, but economically too. Thank you, Oliver. We hope to have you back on Battleground again soon.
Anytime, Nick. Great to be with you.